Hey, everybody. If you love combat sports such as Kyokushin, karate, mixed martial arts, boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, etc., and other sports such as hockey, basketball, make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe button to the Drewsperience show, the show that's 80% combat sports, 20% everything else on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. We'd just like to say thanks to a few supporters of the show. First, Chick Fighting Fitness. If you want to get into shape, whether that's conditioning, boxing, or weightlifting, make sure to check out Chick Fighting Fitness, where Mohammed Chick will make sure that you are feeling great and that you have and you develop confidence and also understand the benefits of living healthy. Chick Fighting Fitness. Also, Kyokushin Boucherville. Fall's coming. Everybody wants to stay in shape because summer's over. And if you're looking for a change, make sure to take up martial arts if you want to at Kyokushin Boucherville. It doesn't matter what level you are, whether you're a child, an adult. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. Shihan Pierre Cataford, his team with Sensei Karun and all the other senseis in IKO Nakamura, such as Sensei Joanne Fournier and Laval, will make sure to welcome you and teach you the benefits of martial arts so you become a better human being, both inside and outside the dojo. Kyokushin Boucherville and Karate Joanne Fournier, where quality comes first in martial arts. And lastly, with that, moments management. Nima Safapur and his team will teach you about pro fighting, the ins and outs, and make sure you leave healthy and wealthy. Moments management, educating you about pro fighting. And with that, wow, I can't believe we're here. This is the 100th episode. I've had a lot of people ask me who the 100th guest is going to be. And this is a very kind of an emotional one because I had him back on episode 34, had almost 800 to 1,000 views. He is the most highly sought after, one of the highly most sought after guests to came back on. And I'm going to just have to say the accolades here. He's highly sought after for international judging and referee for 20 plus years. He made the podium in several Kyokushin tournaments, whether that's for kata or kumites. He was named branch chief of IKO Nakamura, Canada since 2017, given his Rokudan, which is 6th dan, by Sosui Makoto Nakamura himself for all his successes in the past, present, and in the future. And he has the record for breaking ice in March 24th of 2001, 50 ice blocks. He's a 6th dan. He's a 6-star general. He's an amazing Shihan, but most importantly, a friend and a mentor. The one, the only, weighing in at 165, still kicking ass. The one, the only, Shihan Pierre Cataford. Welcome back to the show, Shihan.
Oh, thank you very much, Drew. That's impressive the way you present me now.
You improve, you learn, and you improve. And I want to get people amped. I want to get them excited, especially everyone at our dojo, because I know this is going to get like so many plays and listens, etc.
Where did you get the date? I did my last world breaking. I didn't even tell you that, so I don't know where you got that. In the book, okay? It's in the book. I didn't know.
Yeah. I did my homework. You have to, because if you want to be good at this, it's like you with teaching Kyokushin. If you want to be good, you have to know your facts. You have to know what to do. So I take that from you. You got to be like you got to look like you've been doing this for forever.
Thank you. First, thank you to have me as your 100 guest. I think there's a lot of human beings doing martial art, Kyokushin, of course, or difference. That could have be really good for you for 100. So you give me the chance to be the 100. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, well, I have to thank you because I would not have wanted it any other way, because, the best day in my life was when I took up Kyokushin in 2016. The next best decision was meeting Mohammed Chick, who's become like I'm like this with him. Like even on the baddest of days, we still, it's like that's one friendship I try never to lose. And then the next best day was when I asked you and Sensei Karin to say, I'm ready to come back and I'm ready to learn Kyokushin karate again.
Good. So, of course, the first time I had an interview with you, we talked together maybe twice. We went to the restaurant with Mohammed. You came at my dojo once, and then we did the interview. Of course, now I had to see you in your personal life for sad matters, and then at the dojo, and then you do class, and then of course lately you did the private class. So I start to know you more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's different for me to be your guest.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel special. So, I guess we'll start with the first question. The last time I had you on the show, there was the lockdown, but you were still trying to grow IKO Nakamura. So how has IKO Nakamura grown since our first conversation?
Okay. On two sides, of course, if we talk about Canada, Chantal's on his side, me on my side. So people always said he's Canada. So Chantal said and me make sure we're both branchy for Canada. We don't want to say east, west. We're working together to develop Canada. And also for now, we're also working to develop North America together. So if we have decision for people coming from the United States, we all work out together to make sure it's going to be a good thing, So if I take the part of me in Montreal, during the COVID, that now it's still the COVID, but it's really, really more easy in Montreal. There's no new dojo with me. So there's people from different city that choose to start to train with us. So only me, my group, we grew up from 3-4 dojo in the last 2 years, So this is better. But also in Japan, when I started with Nakamura, we were only 5-7 countries. And during the COVID, I was not sure, And now we are 42 countries with Nakamura. So we have, all the branches, we have a messenger all together for Nakamura. And I was surprised every month or 2 months, we would receive a branch chief. Okay, now that country, welcome, Shihan, blah, blah, blah. That country, welcome, sensei. And sometimes people from different countries call me, and I like what I see with your group. I'd like to come in Nakamura. Where are you from? Let's say they're going to say, we're from Chile. Okay, I cannot take care of that matter, but please, I'm going to put you in contact with Chantal. And then I find out that I thought that Nakamura was taking everybody. And I was surprised they don't, because they want to make sure, there are always going to be politics when there's a business and there's a lot of countries. But we try to keep it as a positive politic. So to grow. And when you choose too fast, sometimes you might have people, it was not going good where they were, and there was reason for that. So if you make sure the way you select, you're going to select, then sometimes you have to say, I'm not going to take that person. But at the end, you're going to, next 5 years, you don't have problem with that person. And then you don't lose good dojo or good, because there's a lot of good Shihan, good sensei. And I think all the organization has good sensei and good Shihan. But sadly, sometimes they all has the opposite. And you want to make sure you don't end up with those people, because it's going to do the same thing to your organization, problems, So I think that Nakamura, first Susui Makoto Nakamura, has so much experience. His business is strong in Japan, so he can be independent. So if it's not good for him, you wait. And that's why I think they're growing slowly but strong. So for now, that's what I see. Of course, I'm in Canada, I'm not in Japan. I don't see everything they do, but they write to us. And sometimes Chantas have confidence in my experience. So sometimes we talk and he's going to give me the way I think about something. And then I tell him, and then we talk about it. And then they use that to make selection. So it's the same for me. Sometimes I'm not sure about something here in Canada. I call Chantas. We talk together, we take a decision. Sometimes said, oh, wait, Chan, I'm going to take Hambu about this. I want to make sure Hambu, we have the same way to think, So this way, when you do it that way, I think that's why slowly but strongly, imagine the first time we went to Japan, there were 7 countries. Now I'm supposed to go in November if COVID get fixed in Japan. 40, yeah. I have 6 persons supposed to pass 4th or 5th dan, and 3 of them are waiting for 3 years now. Plus, Sensei Karen want kata and kumite in Japan. She wants to go back a last time as a competitor, and it's 3 years to train for that. So yeah, we hope to go in Japan in November.
Amazing. Now I want
There'll
to
be
just
42 countries, imagine. Instead of
yeah.
7, there'll be 42 countries. So that's more important. Yeah.
I wanted to ask an additional question because you said the United States, and this is something that I've spoken with Sensei Joanne with, and then
Yeah.
with you. Now, the United States is, we have one dojo there that represents us, Sensei Marek Olieski. Shout out to Sensei Marek, a champion of Ring Wars, who
Yeah.
represented Nakamura beautifully. And that's one dojo. But there's other states such as Utah. Like I'm going to give some states: Texas, New York, Florida. There's so much potential in the US. So how are you and Shihan Tats working with the expansion into the American market?
Well, that's the first thing. It's easy and it's hard. I'm going to explain to you. First, Sensei Marek is a very good person. And he's a polished person.
Mm-hmm.
So when you join Nakamura, Shihan Tats called me and said, they're friend with Peter Sawaski from Poland. Do you mind if you still work with him, even if he's in North America? I said, of course not. They've been friends for 30 years. So if Marek needs something for North America, it's going to go through me because I'm in East America.
Mm-hmm.
And if something is in West America, they're going to go with Tats, of course, because it's easier for us. I take the car or the plane, I'll be in New York or in Chicago in a few hours. Shihan Tats going to take more time and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So, but because of the COVID, it was not easy to say, okay, Marek, do a tournament in Chicago. And that's the way you're going to spread to a bigger country. They have to see you. So sometimes somebody is not happy where he is. He's going to call you and say, okay, I'd like to meet you because now I was with that guy in, let's say, Boston. I'm saying something, I don't know nobody in Boston. But now I'm not happy in Boston. Can I meet you? You meet that person. Finally, seriously, he's only having problem with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then he start to talk with you. And then you end up with a new dojo in the country. But the way you're going to build that, it's with tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're starting to build tournament in Montreal and Vancouver. And then one day we said, okay, Sensei Marek, can we build a tournament in Chicago? So everybody from Canada is going to try to go help you. Is going to come and call the dojo around your area. And then those persons see you teaching, seminar, referee, fighters. And then they say, okay, that group is serious. That group is well organized. And then they start to go ask questions. That's the way you build new countries,
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot send flyers. We're doing good. Come with Nakamura. Usually somebody that's come to bench chief already have 15, 20, 25, 30 years of experience. So you won't choose like this. You have to see you. And because of COVID, we could not move.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to start back to do tournament. Then I'm going to say, Sensei Marek, can you come with people from Chicago? He's going to say yes. And then people from United States start to see, oh, Marek went to Canada. Oh, Canada came to Chicago. And then country around is, okay, we'd like maybe to talk with those persons.
Mm-hmm.
One country, and I cannot tell where, then the state tried to came in, but they were with somebody, the last branch chief, we really didn't want. So we had to say no.
Mm-hmm.
No, but because of what I told you before, we know the past of that person gave trouble to other organization. So you want to have the country, but you don't want to have the person that come with it with the troubles. So you have to be patient,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way, But I'm telling you, the best way is to work hard, train here, do very strong black belt exam, seminar, tournament. Then some people come. That's the way I grew up in Montreal. 3 of the new dojo, 2 of them, they saw me at the Gold Cup. They didn't know me before. Yeah, of course, they knew my name, but they didn't know the way I was really in a person. And one of them, after the first tournament, I was in charge of referee for Chano, and he came to me and said, I like the way you work, and we talk. And that person is Sensei Joanne. And now Sensei Joanne is very happy to be with us. But if I didn't meet her in a tournament, she knew me, I know her, probably we don't talk. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now we talk. She liked what she heard. She asked me a question. And then she said, I want to come to talk with you. She came. we talked. I said, if you want to come with my group, this is the rule, but this is what can I give you back. She was happy about that. I met her and her groups. The group were okay. Sensei Johan called me back, said, okay, it's a go. And now it's 2 years and we're happy to work together, you know? And that's why you and Mohamed came to me, because you met Johan too, you know?
Yes. That leads me into my second thing. Well, it's more of not a question, but it's why I chose Boucherville. Because a lot of people, they've heard it with the other guests, such as Sensei Tony, Sensei Joanne, but now I get to tell you. And, you know, I've told you in person, but I want people to know what led me to Boucherville. And it's more of a testimony, because this will help hopefully get you more students, because I want that for you. Because of what Boucherville has given me, I want to give it back as much as I can. So what happened was, when I hosted you the first time, and it had plenty of views, like it had, like, by a week already, it had you were the most viewed episode, thanks to everybody in your school and organization. I started talking with Sensei Joanne outside and say, look, I mean, like, I'm gonna start my return. I had other offers on the table. I'm not gonna say from who. That's between me and them. It's out of respect for them. But my heart kept going to Boucherville. And then Mohammed kept saying as a joke, like, oh, you're going to go here instead of Boucherville. And I was like, and you know me and Mohammed, we like to always butt heads. But then at one point, Mohammed said, what's your schedule? I'm going to set up a meeting with myself, you, and Shihan Pierre, just to see, so you could see if this is like what you want. And I said, perfect. And came to your school. And it felt like when you walk, it felt like in the Karate Kid, when you walk into the dojo, you see all the trophies, but it didn't feel like the movie. It felt like I was in, as I always told you, it's like the Navy SEALs, like where you see all the trophies. It's like you have these special force units that go into tournaments, demolish, and then come back. And that was the story. When I used to mention your name to others, they said, oh, Kyokushin, Boucherville, Shihan Pierre, those guys, they are top notch. And then after I met you in person, I met Sensei Tony, and Tony says, oh, I'm in Hawkesbury. I'm under IKO Nakamura too. So then we started talking more, and I went back 5 times to them. Is this the right move? My mother, who you know, because she was very ill, she said, look, she's like, Boucherville's very far, but if you feel this is the school for you and you commit to it, I'll support it. And then I come on my birthday to see you. And then that's when we spoke again. And I realized I'm coming back. And it's the best decision I've ever made. And I don't regret it. Even through the worst days, I come to the dojo with a good attitude, and it makes me forget. So I just wanted to say, like, I love the decision I made. I stand by it. And when you came to my, unfortunately, under sad circumstances, my mother's funeral, my family really liked you, and they understand how Boucherville is playing a role in my life, and they don't care how far it is. They're like, look, we'd rather you go there than do something self-destructive to deal with the loss.
Yes, I understand. You know what? When I listen to you, Joseph, me, I always learn from my student or from different person. You're doing something very good with the podcast. So every time I listen to the person you receive, and they always bring something smart. And Kyokushin karate or martial art training, I would say 50–60% of it, it's always the same thing. You do push-ups, sit-up, you train, you do kicks, you do kumite, then you build strategy, spirit. But then there's another 40%. And that 40% come from the person who's gonna develop his own dojo. Of course, after years, probably his own organization. And there's always something good that you can learn from those persons. And even if I'm Nakamura, I was 5th dan for 10 years with Matsui. And I was already a referee international, judge international. Of course, you know, I did tournament, kickboxing, blah, blah, blah. But when I went to Japan, I didn't know they were going to give me a 6th dan because I didn't join an organization to receive a dan. I wanted an organization that they say, okay, you deserve, we give you a title, bench chief, and we think you did work of enough hard to wear that grade. But that doesn't make me a good teacher or not. It's the way I'm gonna work every week, every month. Then I receive people like you. Shihan, I want to come here. Why? Because I have something to give. Not my giri, my washigiri. I have my own person to try to understand your own person, to be happy in karate training. Why do I mean that? I always tell my sensei, you want to be a good sensei? Remember when you were a white belt. You know, a person that come here doesn't do karate. He doesn't know my title, my name, or Sensei Karen champion. A lot of my dojo operator like Sylvain Lemay was a champion. I have Sébastien Mohamed trainer. Julian Marquette finished fourth at the World Tournament. Jean Rivière in 91 was fourth at the Open World Tournament. So there's a lot of names like this here. So the person that doesn't do karate is not impressed by this or stressed by this. But the person who knows a bit karate, I'm not going to go there. They're going to kick my butt. No, because this is only 5% of the Kyokushin dojo. 95% it's regular person that come here to be healthier, learn to train, to kick, to defend themselves, and of course to build confidence through martial art for their person. So when they come in, me as a sensei or Shihan, because a Shihan is a title, I still the sensei, I teach. Sensei means teacher. Shihan is the title. Who's the teacher? So who's the sensei tonight? Is Shihan Pierre. So I'm the sensei tonight. I'm giving the class. So because I have experience, I don't have any more hair. This is white. Now I have 6 dan in Shihan. You understand what I mean? Eh? But sometimes a guy is 35 years old. He's a 3rd dan. He's a sensei. He could be as good as me as a teacher. So when somebody come in, I'm talking to white belt. He doesn't know Tsuki or Maigiri. So I have to open my mind to bring him slowly. The other one is a green belt, like you. You came from another organization, you were a green belt. You come here, okay, I want to be there because you trust me. But on the other side, Thierry is here tonight. Julian is here tonight. Sensei Daniel, nobody know him anymore. He won 12 times the tournament in North America. So I have to, then it's stress for you. It's to me to make sure you feel good with those person. It's to me to make sure those person understand that the person coming in sometimes going to be stressed. And if you can do that, then all those persons going to build up together. Because it's a world that you speak about tournament. Yeah, tournament. All the champion or the tough person go there. So everybody else is impressed by that. So for them, I always give the example, Brew, to my sensei. White belt is like somebody playing hockey with his friend. But Sensei Karen, for women, Sensei Sébastien, Sensei Julien, Sensei Julien, that are still young, they're playing for Canadian Montreal. But they're on the same mat. You don't play hockey with the Canadian. But you do karate with the Canadian. You understand what I mean? I always tell them, don't try to prove yourself with those persons. They've been training for 20, 15 years. Karen went to Japan as a fighter 8 times. So 8 times she went to Japan to fight in a world tournament. New York, LA. Then another woman is green belt, brown belt. She wants to fight. She's on the same mat. That doesn't mean she's no good. But you don't play hockey with all the Canadians or a national. Let's say I go play with Cynic. I play hockey. I was good when I was young. I did competition hockey when I was young. I cannot go play with Sidney Crosby, but we could skate on the same ring. People's going to compare themselves. Don't do that. So I always give them, at my students, something. Oh, I'm not good like Sensei Karen. And I'm good like Sensei. I'm not good. Yeah, but you've been training for 20 years. You've been training for 2 years. You only have the chance to work all together. This is what's good about martial art. But as a sensei, you have to see this because you're going to lose the student because they're too much trying to be like the other one. But she's training for 15 years and she's training 15 hours per week. You're training for 2 years and you're training 6 hours, 4 hours per week. Don't compare, you know. So it's for the sensei or the Shihan to understand that. And when the student come in or the parents come in, to make sure they understand the difference. then the person's gonna keep going in karate. That's what I think.
It's very, very
I,
true.
yeah.
It's very true, especially what I like about Boucherville. You have this way of making everyone feel welcome. Like I took 2 months off because I had like personal stuff to deal with. And I get messages from like Sensei Michelle, hey, take your time coming back. And then I came back, and then Senpai Sebastian was like, oh, it's good to have you again. We missed you. Like, and then same with the oh man, I'm struggling with the names here. The green belt, the one that comes with the glasses. It's
Andre,
no, it's not a sensei. He's a green belt, the big one, the big guy, green belt.
Green belt.
Yeah,
You're talking about, is it a man 45 years old?
I think so. He comes. He's from Joliette. That one.
Oh no. Okay, you're talking about Christian.
Because I'm sorry, Christian. I'm so sorry. It's like Saturday. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. But that's what I love about the podcast. Sometimes it's not like perfect, but yeah, Christian comes in. He's like, "Where have you been? Like, what are you doing here?" It's like, "Did you leave?" I was like, "No, I was gone." So that's what I like about what you've done with the school. You have this way of making sure like no one's here, no one's down here. We're all equal no matter what.
Yes. You know, sometimes people in life say, oh, to a sensei or shihan, you're superior as a human being. I always tell them, don't say that. We're equal. The exam I give them all the time. Of course, you come here, I'm a shihan. I hope I did that. I dedicate my life since I am 11 years old and I'm 58. That's 47 years old. I do martial art. And 38, I teach full time. So what that means is I don't have a day job. I give private class in the day, I give class in the day, I give class at night, I give class in the weekend for 38 years. So of course I know what I'm talking about. But if I go do just your podcast, I start next week, you'll be teaching me. So even if I have the title of Shihan, I'm equal as a human being to you. And I always try to make understand my student, when you open the door, you say, "Os, now you're in my world. This is my dojo, this is my home." I give them the example. Imagine you just cross the embassy from Japan. So the Shihan sensei was a Japanese word. As soon as I go out, I'm not Shihan Pierre anymore, I'm Pierre. Mm-hmm. I drive a car, I have a wife, I have friends, I have children. So everybody has a different job. I'll be their kowai for 10 years and they'll be my sensei or my Shihan for 10 years. So, but because of martial art, there's something so strong, so we have believe in discipline and this and that. People's gonna say, oh, and I go out. And sometimes some people, they never call me, I was sensei, never call me Pierre. And they're training with me for 38 years and now they call me Shihan. And sometimes we go to a restaurant, they call me own, and they call me Shihan, they call me Pierre. And they say, they look at me and say, I can't. And when I was younger, I would say, well, my name is Pierre, call me Pierre. And one of my Shihan said, don't ask them to call Shihan or sensei when you're outside of your dojo. But if they want to, it's because they need that. So them, they feel good to call you outside. So for them, you're the teacher. So I have to learn through that too. So sometimes some people, I have a friend, he came to my house for supper, never called me Pierre. Sometimes I say, hey, appelle-moi Pierre. Je peux pas, I can't. Okay. But for me, it's my friend, you understand? Mm-hmm. So when you look outside, you could say, oh, Shihan Pierre, people have to call him Shihan and say this. No, you've never been in my dojo for 3 months. So you cannot know how do I work with my student. So, and there's different. Some dojo, I saw some, of course, some sensei and Shihan, anywhere they go, you cannot call them by their name. But it's not their decision. Some others, it's the opposite. Even in the dojo, they don't get called sensei or Shihan. But if you're doing Kyokushin, how are your students going to learn if they get out of your dojo to behave with a Japanese master or somebody from another country? Because in Kyokushin, when you go to Japan, if you're talking to a Shihan, it's a Shihan this or Shihan that. You talk sensei. So even Daio Masanaga, the first time came in Japan, he called me his senpai. I said, you're the president of Nakamura. He said, yes, but you were teaching before I was born. So I came here to learn from you. That guy won 4 All Japan Championship. His dad is the 2-time world championship. And now he's in charge of all over Nakamura, all over. And he come here. So when you see things like this, there's so much, how can I say that? Humble.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say, this guy is that humble. I have to be as humble as him because I did not do what he did. Of course, I did a lot. When he was fighting, I was teaching. So I have a lot of experience as a teacher. But when you come here, he's still a Japanese guy, and Nakamura, the father, 2-time world champion, and he did for All Japan 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect the karateka. But as a human being, you respect you as much. So if the president up top is respect you as an equal, I cannot go down with my student. And so everybody's, that's really the way I think is equal in life. You want to do something good, you're with me now, you're not a black belt, but you're doing very good thing with your podcast. And this has been a good person in life. Kyokushin is just a way to help you do this better.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that?
It's very true. That's what I like about your mentality. It's about using Kaizen to be just 1% better inside the dojo and outside. And it's helped me with my podcast. I feel that it's given me a new way to look at it. It's helped me with my work, and it's even helping me now because it's like after the passing of my mother, it's like, okay, it's like I have every excuse to be a bad person and be rude with people and say, no, I don't want to do this, or be like, get the out. But no, it's like, I rather just, it's not what she'd want. And I realized what martial arts can give. And, when some people say to me, like I had some in my step family that said, maybe you should try religion. And I told them, I said, look, I use martial arts. That's my way. And they were like, as long as it's not destructive, it's fine. And that's how I look at it. You have to find something that helps you deal with what's going on in your life.
Yes. And I'll agree. When all the sensei, all the Shihan, all the student, they're gonna go through tough thing in life. And if you think your life's gonna be always something like a dream and it's all pink, you're dreaming. But if you train hard, you try to understand yourself, you try to respect each other, because sometimes the person beside you, you're gonna say, wow, I don't like it. But maybe you're not going through what that person is going through. So you can judge, but positively. Okay, I hope if one day I go through that, I won't act this. So you use that as an example to do better, not to put that person down,
Mm-hmm.
So if you work out as this, martial art can become more important than a black belt or a trophy. Mm-hmm. But the black belt give you, you're aiming for something and you're going there. It's going to be easy someday, it's going to be hard someday. You're going to be happy in one class, the next class is going to say, oh boy, I got my butt kicked today. Then you come back 2 months after, the same person that kicked your butt, but tonight kick it less. So you're improving. So you're using that. But then when you go out, you have to say, okay, I'm going to do the same in life. And it's harder because when you're in a dojo, everybody is the same mentality. They want to improve, they want to learn, and the teacher is making sure of that. But when you go out, family, job, they don't all want to improve. Some of them, yes, but some of them, no. But you want to improve, but you have people around you that don't. But you have to work with them. Then it's to find a way to balance everything without smashing people around, I think that's why martial art, yeah. The rest is only thing to aim for it, to build yourself.
Yeah. And with that, I have a special announcement I would like to make. I mean, I've been waiting to say this because people were asking what's going to happen. And I just want to say, before I came to ask you to teach me, I was taking a very long break from competition because of life. But now, I have to live my life and I miss it. So I do want to say that I am out of my retirement break. And I would like to say that I'm very excited to learn from you how to prepare properly for competitions. And for me, it's not about being a world champion, because you said, people say, Shihan Pierre, I want to be a world champion. Then you give the question, do you have this? I don't want to be a world champion. I want to just be in the competition. And whether I win first place, second place, or third place, I want to be an example. I want to write my own story. I don't want to walk the same path as Mohammed has. I can't walk his path, but under you and him, I can write my own story. And whether I win or lose, I want to say I represented Boucherville, I represented IKO Nakamura, and say I did that when so few can never say that, because what we do is truly, it takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to step onto the tatami, to get hit in the gut, in the liver, that head kicked. So I wanted to say, I'm excited to say I'm back in competition. I'm going to prepare, but it's under your guidance and Mohammed's of when I'm ready.
Of course, no problem. You know what, the way I think about this, I have no problem. But I always tell people like you, we're going to go step by step. You know? I believe in sometime you have to go try a champion. You have to. But sometimes people go too fast to that. And if the champion is a smart one, he's going to beat you without exaggerating. But I said champion, have a regular person in front, break their jaw, break their ribs, knock them out. And I think the problem was not the person that got hurt. It's the sensei who said to that person, it's okay, go there, you're going to learn experience. Of course, you have to do that, but step by step. And of course, a champion could have tonight he's losing and he got kicked. Of course, you're doing kumite. But when you send it like you, now you decide you want it to be a lower belt that you were before. So now you're a blue belt here. I send you to a full contact class, kumite tournament, and there's champion already in your weight. I'm a stupid person to send you there because you're not ready for it. And if the person in front is good, he's going to beat you by his experience. But if a person is a little bit like, oh, Drew is doing that, Pascal, everybody know him, pow, knock you down to show he's a real champion, then the problem is me. I shouldn't have put you there. So sometimes people say, and Boucherville, Kyokushin, no. Regular class, there's no full contact class. A white belt doesn't fight here. So people, no. My full contact class on Thursday night, we are 50. There's 30 black belt at the tournament. When they start to all fight together, of course, you see Kyokushin toughness. But like I said before, you come here, you're white belt for 2 months, fight with them, full contact class. Are you stupid? You're going to get hurt. So this is my year of experience. And people say, they don't fight at white belt. No. I built over 1,500 black belt so far in my career, and over 100 North American champion. But they all start no kumite at white belt. So people now cannot tell me this is not Kyokushin. But Kyokushin is too tough for normal person that never put his foot on the dojo. So you have to get them and choose it. After 3 months, white belt, 3-4 months, they get orange belt. They know the dojo, they say, okay, buy your equipment, we start to do kumite, a low contact kumite. The ribs not ready, you understand. The body is not ready, the shin, the foot, the toes, nothing's ready. So if you start too fast, first week, broken toes, broken ribs, broken nose. Now slowly. But then the head and the body is getting used to the contact. Of course, some person, they're going to go faster because they're younger, they have experience, they did 2 years of boxing. But some people, they just come out of the school, that's the only thing they did in their life. You have to go slowly. And that's the way I think. So when people like you have experience before, come in my dojo, I tell them the way I work. You are happy to be here. You want to be a fighter, then I'll bring you back. And the first tournament I'm going to make you do, I'm going to try to go at your level. So I'm going to say to the sensei or the Shihan, because they know you, because they saw you on your podcast, Drew is coming, but Drew is not the title of Sebastian or Mike Cordero or Justin Mancini. So you see, I'm not telling you Nakamura. I'm telling you guys from different organizations. There's a lot of strong fighters. I won't put you with them at the first fight. If I do that, I'm stupid. But you understand. Then you do blue, green belt, brown belt, kumite. You start to win. Okay, now it's time. We try heavyweight, you go there. There's 5 heavyweight. Mike Cordero is there. You end up with him. Well, fight with him. We know, but you're ready for that. So you see, I didn't give name from my dojo. It's my job to know who's strong in Canada. Because if I put you there, I have to say, okay, it's a danger for Drew. That person could hurt him. Is Drew ready for it or not? This is my job.
Mhm.
It's easy to teach punch and kick, you know? Yeah.
I've seen it like in one tournament where they put a white belt from a school there. The white belt wanted to fight and he got clipped in the nose and he just went, he fell like a tree, goes, and it was not a pretty sight to see. This was before I was with you, and I was like, and now I see what you mean. A white belt's not ready. They have to learn slowly, and that's where it's exciting. You know, you want to fight, but your health is the most important. And then you lose that student, and then that student might not even want to come back because of the embarrassment. So that's where I see where your style is. We bring it along slowly, and when I say it's time, and that's something that I support wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but you see that what you just said about a white belt. Be on the other side. You come. Let's say you're a blue belt. You go in a big tournament like that. Your dad, your mom, everybody is there. Some friends, they don't do karate. You get hurt like that. When they go out, what do they say? You should have seen that guy, a stupid person, a black belt, big Kyokushin person from the old times gonna say, well, this is Kyokushin. Go in Japan. They don't put a beginner in a full contact fight. I've been there 38 times. I've been referee there over 20 times. I can tell you. But kids, yellow belt and green belt, fight. I'm the referee. And I'm like, it's amazing. The footstep of those kids is as strong as the footstep of black belt adult. So when those kids get black belt, they do world tournament. They're ready for it. So that's supposed to be, of course, when I started Kyokushin, it's in the year 75, 78. There was one way. It was path. I started to wear gear. I was, I think, knee down or third down. No jack strap, no punch. No. And when I started to go to Japan and train with champion, and I even had the chance to coach in North America and Brazil, and there was a Japanese guy that now is in Japan now. And we were talking, and he said, when we train, we always wear gear. Why? I said, well, you hurt your foot, you cannot train for 2 months. So we always wear gear, sometimes even for the chest. But at the end, the class, we do toughness and the rock bag and this and that. And every 2 months, we do one full contact to see what's happening between us. And then I started to make my student wear gear because that's smart. If I train every week, I kick a knee, hurt my foot. I kick a elbow, put my thumb out. The next 2 months, I cannot train properly. So all that evolved. So as a sensei in Shihan, you have to evolve with that. So that's the way, I think, with your way of coming back for tournament.
It's a very, very methodical approach. I'm looking at the longevity of my health and the time I compete because I don't want to get injured. As you said, you know, some guy says, oh, that's Drew from the podcast. Go hard on him. Say, hey, I took out Drew from the Drewsperience. And then, you know, I don't come back to karate. And then you're calling me, hey, Drew, where are you? Oh, Shihan, I have a concussion. I don't feel confident. So I always said, sometimes, you know, I've had messages say, hey, you're going to participate. And I tell them nicely, please talk to Shihan Pierre Cataford. He is the one that decides when I'm ready or not. I don't have a say, as much as I'd like to say yes. And they understand. And I always keep it very polite because it comes back to everyone, not just to you, it comes back to me. So I look out for my health. I want to compete. But if you and even Mohammed, who corners me, says, I don't like this, I don't think this is a good tournament, it's two against, us three, we're a team here. It's up to you two to say yes or no. You're the experts. I'm a beginner still. So I have to take your advice because you guys are more experienced. And I always agree with the experience side. Even if I might not like the answer, you guys know more than me. And that's how I work it.
And you see what I'm happy about that? Mohamed, I had the chance to be in his corner maybe 5, 6, 7 times in international tournament. So Vancouver, New York, LA, and of course Japan. But sometime I even at the time, Mohamed's going to remember that in LA one time I had to say something was happening, very bad politics on the mat because of a fight just before. And it was very aggressive. So I had to say, hey, Mo, he was doing the final right after. I said, Mo, go in the corner over there. Because I didn't want him to see what's happening. He has to focus on the next fight. So even if Mo was a really good champion, he was still a kid. And when you see two branch chiefs, two Shihan, very important person, arguing like that and swearing, it could affect
damage. Yeah, it affects you.
So I said to him, and it was at the same time, Sensei Karen was fighting for the final. So it was Sensei Karen fighting, and then Mohamed doing the final, because they did lightweight final for women. No, lightweight for men, lightweight for women, medium for men. Then the women, it was like medium heavy, and then heavyweight. So the medium weight category happened something bad, and blah, blah, blah. So Karen and Mohamed are the two left going for final. So I tell them both, go in the corner over there. Don't listen to that, focus. And that day, it took, I give an advice to Mohamed as what he should use as a technique, and it took 10 seconds, and he won by Ipo. But he always tell me, not the technique I told him to use. He always tell me that, you remember, I told him to go in the corner, to forget that, to focus, you know? So people always think about power, technique, but this is 50% of the win all the time, you know? So people forget about that because you think that guy always win. He's strong, he's a fighter. Of course, Mohamed always wins, strong as a fighter, but he's a human being. And if he get distracted, somebody really regular could beat him this time. So you have to take this. So something like you start back, you're happy to be in my dojo. I was not your coach before. I know you did a few tournaments. I see you here. When I decide you're ready to start back community with regular level, I give you the go, go, go. And then I'm going to see you the way you're going to end up in your tournament. Okay, Drew is ready for more. No, we're going to do one or more like this one because it's not ready for more. And it's not Drew. I did that with everybody. So you have less accident. It's going to happen. Two champion, you win 25 world tournament, and one day you get knocked out, break your jaw. Today, the other guy was better. That's going to happen. But at least, you know, when that happened, the person that get billed, she lose or he lose, they were ready for it. It's not because it's a bad judgment that they're not supposed to be there. They're there. Today, this one, paf, perfect kick, knockdown, win. The other one that get knocked down, the coach and the athlete can live with it. And then the people in the area, they won't say, did you see those stupid purple people? They got Drew injured. And that's what go out of the arena. Of course, Kyokushin community, did you see the committee? Did you see the fight? But all their friends, their family, the person that could be your next generation or your next customer in your dojo because you need them, they're going to go out and say, don't do Kyokushin. The people are crazy. No, bring them in, show something important, make them strong, then they're going to do that kind of committee. So that's the way I think.
It's very true. I want to also ask you, because there's two kinds of champions. There is the humble one that you know that they know they're good. They don't need to brag about it. They don't need to post about it. And then there's the ones that, I'm going to be careful with my wording here. They're the champion that likes to be like, I use the analogy, like they like to be like the Conor McGregor, like not trash talk, but they say, I know I'm the best. They're a showman. Are you someone that prefers a champion be more humble or a showman, or does it really depend on the type of person they are with the other people in the dojo and outside? What kind of champion is one that you like to see?
I'm going to tell you, of course, with my way of living and with the Kyokushin mentality, community, blah, 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 humble one. Of course. If you ask me who's my preferred champion, of course, it's easy. He's from Quebec. He was world champion, and he's a Kyokushin practitioner for all his young time, is Shihan Pierre. So sometimes people, they ask me, why is George so polite? Has a lot of discipline. First, the first thing it comes from that guy. It's his person. But from when a young time to his, let's say, adolescent, how you say that in English?
Adolescence, same thing.
Yeah. George was brought up in a Kyokushin dojo. So of course he learned to say us, respect, blah, blah, blah. When you go on a mat, us, you win, you lose, us, you go. So George was brought up like that. And Kyokushin people, they have to have the discipline. And then you see George, took that and he put it in jiu-jitsu, anything he did. So he became a professional the way he take everything. And he kept the humble of the Kyokushin. But because it came from him too, that he wanted to keep that. For him, it was important. This is what I think about a champion. When we're talking now about karate person, if we talk about a big business like UFC, you want to make money, you need the other guy, and you just said a name, McGregor. You need a guy like him. What? Some people, especially at the beginning, you need somebody that's going to fight George St. Pierre. George always humble. The other one, always big mouth. What happened? Everybody wants to see that fight. And then you have a place full. Then you make money. So you have people like George. Everybody likes him. And you have a person like McGregor. A lot of people doesn't like him because of the behavior. Me, I'm going to respect both of them until it get out of what you have to be the badass. Sorry for the word.
It's okay. You can say it.
Okay. It's going to go good for but then when the fight is finished, they shake hands, they're polite. They go back to their life. They make millions. One's going to stay polite. The other one's going to act like okay?
Yeah.
That's in my head. That's when I'm going to say this guy is a real, not because he's doing it for if you look at the boxing, one guy did 50 fights, never lost. You know what I'm talking about?
Floyd Mayweather.
Okay. When you fight McGregor, remember, before that, Mayweather was always the big mouth. People, and never lose. People would say, I hope he's going to have his, never lost. The last fight he did, one of the last, McGregor, what did he do? He did the opposite. He became the nice guy, and McGregor was the bad guy. But people that doesn't understand the business of that, but it was more McGregor being the big mouth. So, of course, there's martial art, two different things. Mayweather is very, very good boxer, but you do the opposite. You put them in the ring of MMA, and it won't take. It's going to be one round, and Mayweather is going to lose. It's two different things. But they didn't do that for that. They did that for the money. But you don't hear now bad thing about Mayweather. Sadly, you hear too much about McGregor. So I think it doesn't have to get out of your role. But you're a good person for the show. You're a bad person for the show. I understand. But then when it get out to life, you have the chance to be a champion. You act like a champion. This is the way. So me, if I have a badass, sorry to say that, in my dojo, I'm kicking him out. Even if he could win the world tournament.
Because you don't
for
want
me, better person come before champion all the time.
The worst thing to happen is, you said you have like, I like to call him Maverick, like someone who doesn't like you ever watch the original Top Gun? Do you remember the scene where the bald-headed guy is yelling at Tom Cruise and he's like saying, he's like, you are too good for your own good. He's like, your ego is cashing checks that your body like can't. I'm butchering the quote, but it's like, I get it. Like, you don't want someone coming in with that attitude. It rubs off on the children. It rubs off on the other adults. And then they think they can do that. And then they get hurt, they leave the dojo. So I see what you mean. It's about keeping longevity of humility, because if you're not humble, it's going to hurt the whole success of what you've built.
Yes. And what you're saying now, from my experience, because there's a lot of sensei with a lot of experience, a fighter that do international tournament more than 5 and 6 years, maybe 10% of the fighters. But you could do Kyokushin karate for 50 years. So you're going to be a bad model for 50 years? No. Karen is doing community for 12 years now. Mm-hmm. In my dojo, she's the only one. Tournament, no tournament. I have students here that train with me for 38 years, and there's still those sensei doing the full contact class every night. Every Thursday, they come for 38 years. They're still very strong fighters, but they didn't compete. Daniel Dupuis did compete for 12 years, but national. He came 2-3 international. Sensei Karen, 12 years now, international. She's still going to Japan. She said, you don't have a lot like that. People will remember from Quebec, Christian Ouellet. Christian Ouellet did all the tournament all over the place for 20 years. But this, you can name them because it's rare. But they all still do karate. What do you remember of those person after? The way they behave. Because the guy that's 18 years old, that dream to be like Sebastian, the girl that's 15 years old, that dream to be like Karine, they don't even know the name I told you. But if they meet them as a sensei, they're going to say, oh, sensei, I know you did a competition. Hey, that guy is so nice. They don't even see them compete because they don't compete for 10 years anymore. So the way you behave is more important than the tournament you won. Mm-hmm. After a while, of course, 2022, we go to Japan, Karen come back, she won the world tournament, everybody's going to talk about it. In 2 years, people are going to train my dojo. If I don't tell them, they don't know. But hey, Sensei Karen did my class yesterday, it's so nice. That's important. So I think that's the way a champion should be.
I agree.
But Drew, this is hard. I'm going to tell you why. To be a champion, you have to be cocky. If you're a nice person, always gentle, you don't want to hurt nobody, you cannot be a champion. So it's a battle between black and white in your head. You want to be a fighter. The guy is injured. You want to finish the fight. So you have to be, I call that cocky. You have to. But then when you say us, you have to go out and be Japanese, very, very polite, very nice. This is not easy when you're young.
It's very true. And I had that too. Like I could speak from experience where before I came to you, like I had that experience where I had a chip on my shoulder, as we say. But then I came to Boucherville, I met you, and then I had to change my attitude. I had my first class of Sensei Corinne. And I'm not going to lie, I was a bit intimidated of her because you see the photos, you see how professional she looks, how in English we say stoic, like very serious. But then you meet her and you're like, wow, she's honestly one of the nicest people ever. And she's got a sense of humor because, she speaks more French. I speak more English, but she says the best thing to make me feel at ease in the first lesson I had with her. She's like, you're going to teach me English. I'm going to teach you French. And I was like, perfect. So then that's how her and I get along. And she is I got to say, I'm sure you've had people in your dojo who are teachers like for French and all that. I'm just going to say this. Sensei Corinne is one of the best French teachers anyone can have. Like if you really need to learn French, she will help you. She will encourage you. And even if you say an English word, she won't say anything. And she'll never say it like this, like in French with all the grammar. One of the best French teachers I've learned from outside of school.
That's nice. Once you listen to that, she's going to be happy, sometimes I cannot talk too much about Sensei Karen because people are going to say, well, it's his wife, it's normal. When I go through the door, Karen is not my wife, Karen is a student. Mm-hmm. And now she earned the title of Sensei because she worked very hard. Mm-hmm. She completed. And she's probably even in my life, my own life, I even learned from her. The more humble person I know. There's 6,600 persons that work with Karen at the Banque Nationale office. Mm-hmm. they didn't knew she do karate. She didn't knew she win in New York, LA, blah, 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 blah. But when she won in Japan, one of the 6 person that worked with her is on Facebook, and he saw that. He went to president, vice president. He said, hey, we have a champion in the bank. So they did, I'm gonna use my name, my word, an intranet post, and they send it to the 6,000 person in the place.
Whoa.
We have a champion and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, not shy, but not feeling good with that, because she would go to the elevator and the person would say, hey, that's you, you did in Japan, very good. So you see, me, I don't say everybody would have known, but the person around me, of course, they would have known, because that's my personality. I'm passionate, I'm happy. I learned through the years that sometimes people's gonna say he's a big head instead of he's a passion. So I have to learn to choose when I speak about my passion, because I'm not a big head. I don't think I'm better than everybody else, but I'm so excited about what I do. Sometimes I overdo it. So people that doesn't know me or that don't have self-confidence, they're gonna say, oh, he's better than everybody, blah, 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 blah. And it's not true. That's not the way I feel, you know? And there's so much better fighter, better coach, better Shihan than me. I really don't feel like that. I just do my best with what I know, you know? Sensei Garin, when I started to live with her, we have fun, but that side of her personality, for me, it's the more humble person I know. I don't say there's no more humble person, but me, around me in my life, day to day, Sensei Garin, she never talk about her. She's gonna fight tonight. She's gonna get a good fighter here with a back kick in the liver, on the floor. She's gonna look at him, are you okay? We're gonna go home. She's gonna say, hey, did you see my technique? We worked was good, and that's it. She never is gonna talk about it anymore. She's not gonna say to another sensei, hey, I cut Sensei Paul yesterday, you know, never. And this, people have to learn from a person like this. They do what they have to do. Of course, she's a stubborn, she wants to win. But if she does it, it's for her. It's not to drag you, to say I'm better than you. And so I learned. But if I say that every week, every month, of course it's his wife. He's talking about his wife. Yes, but it's my student too. And we train hard for 20 years, and now she compete for 12 years. So of course I'm proud of what she do, but I have to be careful the way I talk about that.
Very, very true. So the other question I have is, now, what do you feel is important to make you a good role model and mentor for those who come through Boucherville? Because you're getting a lot of students. You're getting kids who might not have their father in their life. They might have both parents don't care. They care about the kids, but they're busy with their work. So they just dump the kid off at karate, and they feel they more belong in the dojo than they do at home. So how do you feel you play your role, not only yourself, but Sensei Corinne, Sensei Mike, Sensei Eve, Sensei, all the senseis basically, and Shihan yourself, that have to play out be like a mentor to these people that come through the door?
I think from my point of view, first, you have to be an example. You know, I was younger. I did stupid thing. I'm a human being. I could do a party one Saturday night and have 4 glasses of wine instead of 1 and start to say joke. But this is normal. But when it become every week, every weekend, every time, people around you see only that, then you're a bad example. So I think you have to make sure you're a good example. I'm happy sometimes to say I'm still lucky because life give me my health and I taking care of it. But I'm 58, I'll be 59. For me, I'm living like a 30 years old person. But if I say that to regular person, check leave, I still walk on my hand, my full dojo. I still do mawashigiri to the face. I still break baseball bat cement. I still do all those things. When I play with my friends, I don't sit on the bench. I could do anything, volleyball, baseball, football, somersault, name it. I go in the water, I'm gonna do. So people, they're gonna say, this is the first thing. You said people train to stay healthy. First, I have to train. Of course, you know what? The first time in my life, in the COVID, I took, I think, 10 pounds. Why? We didn't have nothing else to give class, train, go home, eat. Well, we don't train tomorrow because we cannot, it's closed. Well, Friday night, we take 2 glasses of wine. Oh, Saturday too. We didn't drink like drunks, people, but we took wine double than what we used to do. Why? I'm getting. So when we started back training, so whoa, slack down, train. I lost 10 pounds. I still feel fit. It's to make sure you understand what's going around with everybody. It's gonna happen to yourself too. And then when it happens to yourself, whoa, take care of yourself. That's the first thing to give example. The other thing, it's to teach them. To understand your job is to teach them. That's when you see the mentor come, you know? You know, Drew, what I'm learning in my life, what helped me a lot with the people around me, I speak with my heart. Sometimes I have to do business decision for the good of everybody. Pierre Cataford doesn't do nothing only for his good. I'm not built like that. And the way my parents teach me life, I was not built like that. Of course, when I was younger, sometimes I was doing stupid things. But because I was brought up with good manners and in my heart, I'm a good person, I was not happy about me. But what I did, I decided not to do those stupid things anymore. Now, I have nothing to reproach to myself. So people around me, they see it. So that's the way I could be a mentor. You know? Business is very hard for people now. There are people always think about money, or you have to do class to be better with the class, to know what to do. So you'll be a president, vice president, but they don't think a lot about the stress, the pressure. They have a very, very strong place as a businessman, but they don't have confidence in themselves. People say, oh, yeah, of course. They've been there because of their life, but the way they do the job, they have a lack of confidence. That's when I become a mentor, to help them with that part. When they ask me, of course. If they don't ask me, it's not my job. But sometimes I give private class, 20, 25 level. Then the guy called me, Shihan, tomorrow morning, my private class, yeah, we don't do the training. I want to talk to you. And that guy is in charge of 350 person. And so I'm going to tell you something I'm going through with person, and I want you to give me what do you think about that. Why? Because I do the same. I teach to people for 40 years. I learn from people. I saw people going because they didn't listen to themselves, their health, blah, blah, blah. So with all that experience, I can give you my point of view. And then you take it and you help yourself what was good for you. So people say, Shihan, yeah, of course, they call that coach de vie in French. But that happened in my dojo the last 10 years, maybe every month it happened. And those people, they can buy me, buy my house, buy my dojo, buy my car, send me in a garage and keep their life. We're not talking about money. They have money. We're talking about what's here. And me, sometimes I have to do business manner. I do the same. I talk to them. What do you've been taking care of for 20 years of 350 employees? Of course, you have to go with issue. I'm going to an issue with one of my director. What do you think about this? How would you act? And they give me. Sometimes they don't know the person I'm talking because it's karate, it's a small. Sometimes they know it. They're going to say, okay, that person, me, I would do that with that one. One day, one of the businessmen, you look at me, said, that person, I would put my foot in his ass and kick it out. So sometimes they would talk to me like that. And then I take it the way I want it, you know? So I think to become a mentor, give the example first. I still have things to learn. Chantal the other day said, the Shihan in Ambu, because there's a lot of Shihan in Japan, they like you. I said, why? He said, because you ask questions. I said, of course I'm asked questions. I'm not Japanese. So Sawayama built the Kyokushin, not me. IKO Nakamura was his friend. Masanaga was like this in the end of Sosarema. They have an history with that I don't have. Of course, I'm asked question. I said, why? I said, because a lot of branching, they don't ask question anymore. And I said, why? Their pride. But I think would be my biggest mistake to start to have pride with those person. Me, I'm lucky now. I'm close to them. So if my question come from my student and I don't have the answer, first thing I call Chantas is if technique, if it's Japanese term, because it's their language, or if it's something about sosai or this or that happened, I'm going to ask question. Is that?
It's true. Like, and that's the one thing too, like when I first met you, like in person, like you were talking about, like you want to know more about my life. And I've told you, we don't have to go into too much detail, but I told you after my father passed away, like it was a very traumatic experience. I never dealt with it properly. It led to a lot of self-destructive behavior that I can't even talk about, like, unless like I really trust you. Like I trust you, I trust Mohammed. And like, and without going into details, because that's between us, but like, and then you kind of played the role. Like, that's why I told like my Aunt Cindy that you met at my mom's funeral. Then like then recently I told my step family, like I said, listen, I said, Shihan Pierre he's not just my teacher, but I call him like my second father because he's got characteristics of Tom. That's my dad's name. And that's the one thing like that I think makes you connect with people very well. Like, you know how to change your role. Like, let's say you said you're talking about a guy that manages 350 people. You have to change your role, not from just a Shihan, but as like what's in his head. And then I told you my story and you're like, okay, he's young. He's done a lot of stupid things, but there's a reason for it. But I'm going to try to help him understand what the benefits are here and what the negatives are. And that's what I think is like makes a good like mentor, whether it's you, whether it's Sensei Corinne with like a girl that comes up to her and says, look, I'm having this issue. It's really important. Or Sensei Mike, like Sensei Mike's a teacher and Sensei Mike knows, like when I told Mike, I said, Sensei Mike, I said, I'm not understanding this. I said, because I have a learning disability. Like I didn't say it that way, but I said, like, I don't learn the same way. And then that led to Sensei Mike toning it down to my level. So I think that's where everyone at Boucherville tries to help each other as a mentor.
I totally agree. And you just said, Mike did 18 years at Taekwondo, something like that. And now it's close to 20 years of Kyokushin. But he's also the teacher for 25 years of sport at Collège Charlemagne. So sometimes we talk about injury. Sometimes we talk about the way we should teach to kids the approach. So I had the chance to have a person with those knowledge. Of course, with my knowledge, we put all that together, and then I can help people. Like you're saying, you're humble enough sometimes to talk about that you have a disability. But you know what? On the other side, I'm used to work with people that have your syndrome, I would say.
Yeah.
You are very, very focused. So when you do something, you really go to details. So I don't like to say that guy is, en français, on dit infirme ou disabled.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Because look at what you did with your podcast. So it's not true. You're different. And it's my job, if I want to teach you, to understand your syndrome. Of course, I have the chance to teach for 38 years. I saw maybe in my life 50, 100% that have the same kind of issue as you. But you want to be better. You understand who you are. Then it's my job as a coach, as Shihan, as a human being, to understand who you are and try to help you the way I can. And now because of that, and because of Mohammed knows you more than me. And one day he said, you really want to do Kyokushin? There's those guys. And then you talk with him and you decide to come here, and Mohammed approve your decision. Because Mohammed knows that I'm not there to take what you have. You stop do podcast tomorrow morning, I don't care. I'm taking care of you. Because you're a human being when you come here. You're not Drewsperience when you come here. You're not a Canadian player when you come here. You're not the president of a company when you come here and you have a big Mercedes outside. For me, you're a human being.
Mhm.
Of course, I'm not stupid. I know what you do in life, and I know that guy has more money than all my family. That's not what I mean. When you trust that door, you're a Kyokushin member. That's it. And this is the way it's supposed to be. Because everybody, everywhere in life, it's the opposite. Your family come, hi, you have a new Mercedes. What happened to your nice car? What did they look at you like money-wise, you're going good or bad? Sometimes I don't even know that friends change your car because I don't go out to look what they have as a car. I look the way they are, the way they act, but I'm like that. If I buy a nice car, it's for me to have fun, not to show my neighbors or everybody else. So I think as what you just asked, it has to be like this. So when Drew come here, of course, I knew you were doing podcasts. But then when we started to talk, you asked me a question, you explained me things, I gave you my truth. You were happy about that, you decide to come here. You would have said, Shihan, if I need that guy or that guy, it goes to my dojo, I'm happy, I feel good, I'm gonna go there. I would have wished you good luck because I'm not jealous. You know, you understand that, right? Yeah, I'm not jealous in life. My brother 5 years ago brought a Mercedes. It was 165,000, the car. It was amazing, a racing car, Mercedes. I was not jealous. I was so happy for my brother. He worked hard for it, you know? Well, that's me in life. And that's the way I am with you. That's the way I think.
It's very true. Now, I want to ask you, what do you feel are the benefits of the Japan trips for karatekas for your school and the rest of IKO Nakamura? It's a big question, but if you can only answer for your school, that's good enough for me.
Okay. You know, I had the chance to grow up in Kyokushin with a strong organization, especially at my beginning, everybody was working together. And there was a lot of sensei because there was only one Shan, or Shanare. Everybody else was sensei or even senpai. We were so young, 20, 25. 30. But it was big. So everybody was working hard together. Everybody was strong. And at that time, the Shihan was really like giving a very strong level that he wanted. So I had the chance to learn that way, you know. But then you're with, especially for a black belt or a teacher, a new teacher, you see a sensei, Shihan, sensei, world champion, kickboxing champion, breaking champion. How do you make your place? It's not easy, you know. And I always had respect. I still have a lot of respect with a lot of them, even if I don't work with them. That's me. They don't know, it's their problem. Me, I still have respect for everybody. Do I still feel that we think the same way? We belong to the same place? No. But this is my problem. But I still have respect with all those persons. Sadly, one of the best for me passed away, you know, Shannon had an accident. Shannon Bonami, still a big friend of me. We did a lot together. I have a lot of respect for the men. Of course, everybody knows what they did kickboxing. No, I'm talking about the men. But when I went to Japan, I went a lot of time. Like I told you, 30-year time. And by the 2007, I passed my Godan in Japan. It's the first time I was going in Japan for me. For the year and a half before, I did training every day, of course, to be in shape. Kata, because I go down, do all the kata. At the same weekend, I was a referee and a judge. And of course, kumite, because I didn't know if I was going. We did, some people said, because I stopped counting, some of the people said, hey, you did 65 today. But I think it's a go down was supposed to be 50. But I know we did 20, then the third down sat down. We do 20 more, then the fourth down sat down. So the training took 6 hours and 15 minutes. I lost 18 pounds. We no water. But you know, sometime one day, everything you do, it go good. That day was my day. So I was feeling good in the training. I was tired, of course. And then when we do the kumite, a strong kumite, I even did with some people was Ari or Ipo, and I was not there for that, but it happened. And I think it happened with some of them because they were too tired, not because I was that much stronger than them, you know. But that day when I got out of there, in my heart, it was nobody's gonna take that down from me. I earned it. You know what that does? You have confidence in yourself after. You have confidence in when you teach what you learn. So when I decide to choose an organization, and it's going to answer to your question, I decide to take IKO Nakamura. You want to know why? Because in the rules, fourth and fifth dan has to be done in Japan. If I think about me, I want to do the fourth dan and fifth dan and be the big Shihan that do his great fourth and fifth dan. If I'm thinking about you, Sensei Karin, Sensei Daniel, I want them to go do the test in Japan because it's going to bring something else to them. I've been to the city of karate Kyokushin. I've been with Nakamura. He still have the reputation of a strong karate, you know. So when the person's going to come back with a fourth or fifth dan or a trophy over there, going to say, I've been in the world of karate. Meets Nakamura. Metsui, Midori, Aroyama. There's like 7, 8 organizations. They're good and strong organizations. When you go to Japan, that's what I mean. That's why I think Nakamura is good for the student. You go there, you're gonna take more of it if you're brown, black belt, or down. Of course, you're white, blue, orange belt. You go to Japan, you're gonna be impressed. You don't have enough karate to see or understand everything. You're not stupid. You're a human being. You're gonna see good fighter, good kata, or that's the master, that's the shot. But your knowledge in karate and your experience is not big enough to really understand all of that. So I tell my student, if you have the chance, wait until you're green, brown, black belt. You're gonna, I'm talking about karate, I'm not talking about Japan. You go do sightseeing, you're gonna go see more Fuji. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about Kyokushin karate, seminar. That's why I think, and that's why I chose Nakamura. You see, Sensei Sylvain was the first of Nakamura to do fourth dan in Japan. Then the year after, I had 3 person here. We did the summer camp. Imagine 3 days, 21 hours of training, 42 degrees. This is one of the worst exam I saw because it was so hot. But the 3 person, they did fourth dan, 8 hours, 6 hours, and then Sunday morning, 40 fights with 40 Japanese person. So imagine, but those 3 guys are with me for 38 years. The first thing they saw when we came back, thank you, you make me do my dream. That's the kind of sensei I have here now. Their own story, their own experience, not mine. That's why I think it's very good for the people here to go in Japan, to have their story, you know?
It's very
and
true.
If I think only about me, no, I want to keep them here, make them the fourth dan, make them the fifth dan, am I that? No, I'm not like that. I want my student to learn. And if they go there, let's say Sensei Sylvain, when he passed, I think he did 5 fights with 1 Canadian, 1 Russian, 35 fights with the branch chief Japanese. All good fighters. When you come back, you know you fight with those guys. You know? When we did the 3 guys in the summer, it was worse. Only Japanese fighter. And I had 4 other fighters. They fought with the Japanese that were passing their fourth dan with the girls' second dan. But they didn't fight with my 3 guys. They fought only with Japanese, and my 3 guys did 40 fights only with Japanese. You know what? They all did the last fight with Daio.
Whoa.
If you put that in 2019, Daio won the All Japan Open in 260. That's only 3 years. And he still trained like if he's doing tournament. So the last fight, he did the fight until he made them bend in the ribs or in the leg. So those persons, they come back here. Makoto Nakamura gave them right away the fourth dan. He gave them a hug. And he said, Canadian people, crazy Canadian people, because we went there in the August, you know. That I was happy. Of course, it's my student. But imagine what they have now in their heart. That's the way they got their foot down. So that's why I think it's very important for my brown black belt and over to go to Japan to get those experience for themselves. We're doing Kyokushin karate. So of course I don't like politics. Of course it's sad that now Makoto is on his side, Nakamura on his side, Royama on his side. Of course, but you know what? All those persons in Japan still work together, except of course we know the group of Matsui. But the last time I went to Japan, the night before, Royama and Makoto were having a meal together. They do tournament every month in Japan. So the fighter of Nakamura go everywhere. So I'm trying to do the same thing. Of course, now everything was stopped for 2.5 years. We're going to start back to have tournament. I'm going to bring people almost everywhere because as a human being, I have to respect myself. So some person, I cannot work with them, not because of karate, not because of the organization, because the behavior they had with me before was not only about karate or dan. I have some people, they still owe me money.
Oh, okay.
No, so how can I ask that guy to come to my tournament? So it's not because I want to have the control of my student. No, if I'm a man, I respect myself a little bit. That guy was not, I would say, fair with the people around me. So if I decide to go there, the people around me, when I say, Shan start to think on me about money and he doesn't care to go with those guys anymore, but they know the story.
Yeah.
They work in the story. Some of them, they still, Mike, you like Sensei Mike.
Yep.
He was somewhere before, and it's not important. But when he came to me, he said, I cannot see with that man anymore. Imagine. So Mike, like everybody, he didn't have respect for that person. But that much to say I cannot be seen with that guy, I don't want people to think I respect his belief, his way of thinking. So me, as a Kyokushin, I don't want to do politics. But what do? I have to try to make it. And I like everybody, I'm telling you, except those 1 or 2 persons that were not the crook. But they have a title, but they're crook. Don't ask me to go with them. Because before Kyokushin, my father gave me win life, respect women, don't take money from others. So it's not written in the Dojokan, but if you read, yes, it is written. So respect is respect. You understand?
I'm hoping though too, because you said Maksosui and Kancho Royale, or he has a different title now because he's slowly retiring. Royama, they had dinner together. They do tournaments. I'm hoping because Shihan Tom Callahan and you know each other very well. And Shihan Tom reached out to me recently and he's like, how's your training with Shihan Pierre? And it's like, and I'm hoping if one day as things open up that you and Shihan Tom can do what Sosui and Kancho Royama did. That'd be really nice to see because that can help get Nakamura into the US market more. And Shihan Tom is such a great human being. I really want to mention that about him.
He's a very nice person. You know what? Of course, when he was in LA, we tried because he was with Matsui, then he moved. I was going in LA, I was with Matsui. So we could not see each other at the tournament because he didn't belong to Matsui anymore. But every time we try to get in touch, but because of the the tight schedule, we didn't. But every time he comes to Montreal, we talk to each other and we try to find. And I know the next time he comes to Montreal, and now he's not in LA anymore. I don't remember the city, but he moved. He's in another city. If I have to go around there, of course we're going to meet each other because you know what? We have respect for each other. You know, but it's not with Nakamura. I don't care. I don't care. And for now, everybody around me in Nakamura, I mean Canada, they're under me, or that, but North America, everything is going good. Everybody like each other. So for now, it's easy. You know, it's going to grow. It might happen in the future. I have to take decision because it's the sad side of it. But for now, everybody is happy. But I have friends in Montreal that are not Nakamura. We still do job together. I went to Hugo Perez tournament twice. I went with Dominic Owen 3 times tournament. Even he gave me the honor to be in charge of the referee over there. Is Matsushima and the other one is So Kyokushin. So what? We work together. Why? Because when I go to Hugo, my job is referee, my student is competing, his job is building a tournament, and everything is done professional and with respect. I'm gonna go there. And then when I'm gonna start to make more tournament Nakamura, I'm gonna ask Hugo to come and Dominic to come, But doesn't have to do with the organization. It has to do with the person. I respect Hugo, I respect Sean Dominic. And of course, Jacques, Sensei Shihan Jacques. I respect Shihan Jacques. So 4 or 5 times a year, we talk each other, we ask about business. They're not doing the same organization, they're doing their thing, I'm doing mine. So what? We're human beings, they're a good person. Some others, they're the same organization of others. It doesn't work anymore. Why should I call or they call me? But that doesn't mean the organization they're in is no good.
Right.
That's what I mean. Huh?
Right.
It's only between 2 human beings that doesn't work. But maybe the other organization around him, it's okay. So that's why I think to go in Japan for my student, very important.
It's very true. Like also too, I really want to say, like you said, Shihan Hugo and Shihan Ohan, like Shihan Hugo, when I did my podcast with him, he went out of his way to pick me up from Angrignon Metro and drive me back. And he's like, I know you don't have a car, but I'll be more than willing to pick you up and drive you back. And I was really appreciative of that. And then Shihan Ohan, when I reached out to him, when he saw I was with you, Shihan Ohan said, I don't really do podcasts, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Here's my number. And he was nice enough to like reach out. And then he gave like a massive message like about my mother when she passed. So there are a lot of good people in the community. And that's why I think it's important. It doesn't matter the organization. It's about their personality to include them. And then that way we all grow together.
Well, you see, you said about Shihan Hugo. The last time we went to Japan, my girl was going to Japan. And so to get money, she's very good to paint. She was selling paint. So, and on my Facebook, Boucherville, I put a few paint and it was like a tree. And in Japan, it's like purple flowers.
Yeah.
But at the period of the time, it's full all over the place. My daughter did a painting of that, but it looked like a picture. Shihan Hugo saw that on Facebook. He called me on private, or my wife, and he said, I want to put this in my dojo. Can I buy it? So he bought it. Of course, it's something that is going to go with his dojo. It's a Japanese thing. But on the other side, he was helping Shihan Pierre's daughter. He could have said, this is Shihan Pierre's daughter, another organization, I don't do nothing. You see, nobody knows about that. Me, I know. So if one day somebody starts to talk to me badly about Sensei Shihan Hugo, I'm going to call Shihan Hugo because I'm going to say, Shan, is this real? Is it good? Because I know he did good thing before. Then if it's right, he's going to explain me why. And then if I'm not happy, I'm going to tell him. That's why I don't listen to people anymore. Oh, Sensei this, Shan this, that. Of course, I have a personality. Some people, they like it. Some people, they don't like it. So what? That's me. I try to be better every year. But that's me. I'm not going to start to be different, Like I always said to my student, I have enough friends. When I teach, I don't teach to have friends. I teach my heart, Kyokushin. If you're happy, good. If you take personal, start to work on your self-esteem. I'm not personal telling you you're not good. I'm telling your kick is no good. It's my job. My job is judge your technique. And then when it's not right, to tell you how to improve. Then if in your head, you're negative and you go out and he's not happy, I'm not the problem. I'm teaching you. I'm supposed to tell you that. So sometimes we have to explain that to people. When I get out, it's finished, karate. I love you. I like you. But when you're there, your kick is no good. I have to tell you. Of course, after 40 years of teaching, you change the way to tell it. You don't say you kick like a baby. You say, well, you have to work on your mawashigiri, your hip, your knee. So it's easier for the person to take it. but you still have to tell people the right thing, you know?
It's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So there's the last two questions. So the second of the last question is, you've been through a lot of tournaments and you have a lot of memories. So what are some of the most memorable that you've seen? And I know it's a big one. So answer how you wish.
Okay. It's impossible for me to tell you all I'm just Japan. I've been there like 38 times, and it's always for tournament and after seminars, you know. So I cannot go without my first tournament. My first tournament was in 91. I was young. I was 27 years old. And I was the coach of Jean Rivière. And Jean Rivière, nobody knew him at that time because he was 19 years old. So he started to train with me at 13 years old. But he was a huge man, big guy. And he had qualities, natural quality. He was really relaxed on the tatami and big, strong. When I started to train him for the world tournament, he was over 300 pounds. And I wanted to be 250. I got to 270.
Okay.
Okay. So when you fight, I think with the kimono on, he was 272 because they do the scale. You know?
Yes.
So that's the guy who I trained the most without asking nothing. What I mean, no money, because I didn't have experience at the time. So we trained at the gym. The gym sponsored him for a year. He was too big to run. So I make him swim. And I was a teacher of swimming when I was young. So I make him swim. And I was swinging with him. At the end, believe it or not, that guy was doing 80 laps of 25 meters. And I was swinging with him. I was doing 100. I wanted him to catch me. So imagine after a few months, he was doing 80 laps in 1 hour, but he was 200, close to 300 pounds. So we built this cardio like that. And every day I was training him for 2 hours, but Kyokushin training. Kick the pad, tibana, push up, and I was smacking him with the shinai. I broke 2 shinai in 1 year. And every night he'd do 2 hours of class. And he was so big. Me, Jean-François Choquette, Daniel Dupuis, Benoit Marchand at the time, we would do 30 seconds each. So I would do 30 seconds, then get out, because I didn't have any heavy weight. But that's what, now I know, but at the time I did not know. But what does, Jean Rivière was very fast for his weight because he was fighting with light weights. And then I was doing him pads. 3 person was holding 1 pads, imagine. So I'm in front, you're in the back, and another guy in the back. Me, I was with the timer, I would go. And he had to do 100 maigiri in 60 seconds. Believe it or not, at that weight. At the end, he was doing 100 maigiri in 60 seconds. And I was there with the shinai, come on. But then they would do with the money there, for who's going to be in front with the pound. Okay. So that's the way we train Jean Rivière. But we go to Japan, bang, piff, pow, bang. We end up in final. And he tied with Masuda. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and he tied with Masuda. So he was nobody beat him. He did a few knockdowns. Especially the knockdown, you see the 2 guys do spin kick at the same time, he knocked down the Japanese guy. So, but that was the first fight of the last day. Then there was a guy from Poland, 6'6". They tie after 3 minutes. And Jean was like 40 pounds, 50 pounds more. And if you tie, you lose. But that guy started to have pain inside of his leg, and Jean was left-handed. So he kicked with the left from the back. So when it was 3 minutes, I said, and I was a coach, I said, Jean, he has pain inside. So when they start back, Jean went bang, 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 poor kick inside. The guy went down, he popped. You know what that did? Brought him to the first place. Imagine 250 fighters, you get to the end. And then he tied with Masuda. he lose because he died. So he had to fight after for fourth place. But imagine 19 years old, only 2 years of tournament in Montreal. It's not an experience. That guy has enough. And then you had to do third, fourth place with Kurosawa. And for me, Kurosawa was one of the strongest hitter in the Japan history. Kazumi, him, there's not a lot that could say there was kicking strong like that guy. So Jean took a beating from that guy for the last 3 minutes because he had enough, he didn't want to fight anymore. So imagine your first tournament international. So of course I cannot say I will remember that for my life. But then if you come to more recently, 3%, 4%. There's 2 women. I have to talk about 2 women. I have a lot of respect for Julie Lamar. She's been a champion for a long time. She's been world champion. She has her own technique. She's tall. She used very, very well to keep the people far with her leg. And of course, they all know that. So they try to find a way to get to her. So when they get to her, she can take a punch, a kick, and then, and she's still competing. So for me, Julie Lamar, when she won the world tournament, I was in Japan. I was very proud of her. Mm-hmm. And of course, not because my wife now, Sensei Gayen won in Japan and won a lot of plays too. So those 2 women for me, if you talk about the new age, and I'm talking about the people around my organization. I could talk about other people, other organizations. So I'm talking about my organization. And of course, when Julien won the North American Championship, mm-hmm. we went to the World Tournament. And Julien finished 4th at the World Tournament. But he did a lot of great fight. Of course, I will remember that for all of my life, you know. And he was not my student, but by the side, he became my student, a lot of tournament, Mohamed. Mohamed won a lot of tournament. I think the first time I coached him, I think it was at Vancouver, and I think it's 209. But I coached him in LA. When I tell you, I told him to go in the back. And that day, he built a Russian that was 250 pounds. But that guy was huge. And Mohamed said, what do I do with that guy? I said, well, I don't think you're going to beat him in the chest, huh? But you have strong low kick. Go for the low kick. And I'm telling you, Mohamed did 1 low kick. And I think he broke the tibia or the bone beside him. In French, we say péroné there. Mm-hmm. Because the guy went on the floor, holding his leg, and really not a nice thing, you know. Somebody's just, and yelling. So I think it was broken. So Mohamed won with that guy. But the fight before, he won again a very, very strong guy from Romania.
Stoyan.
And Stoyan is a very strong fighter. And Mohamed beat him too. So for me, that was a great tournament also. That's what brought Mohamed to the world tournament, you know. So, but only Karen fought 8 times in Japan. You know, Sensei Mili, now she has a baby. She did 8 world tournaments. So, you know how much I sing. Thierry Tamsi, my champion, won a few plays. We go to Japan. First fight with the Japanese champion. Almost win. So I have memories that were good, you know. But of course, I cannot tell you everything. You know, I tried to just give you an example. But the fight with Jarvia still would be, Sosayama was alive. I had the chance to shake Sosayama. At the end of the tournament, of course, center party, Sosai never knew Jean. He came to meet us, shake and talk to us. So because of all that, I was 27, so I was impressed, you know. So Midori won that time. Mm-hmm. There was 50 Japanese journalists after me and Jean. And because I'm bilingual, I was able to explain to them the way we train and blah, blah, blah. So for me, it was a great time, you know. Mm-hmm. But it brought me the experience and the passion to bring other fighters. Mm. There's a lot of my fighters that did not say the name that did tournament. So, but what I told you, it's probably what I'm still very happy about it.
Amazing. Yeah, no, you have the picture there. I saw, and it's like I always see it, and I like looking at it like while waiting till the class to start. And it's one of the ones where you see Jean just standing there, like as if like he just accomplish something crazy, and he looks like so stoic. He's very like, I know what I did, and I see you there in the photo too. It's 91 was a very amazing time.
Yeah, the picture you're saying that was given to me by one of my students.
Mhm,
He was at the tournament,
mhm.
and he took the picture. Jean is Kodashi, and that Japanese guy is knocked out, and they're pulling out with the CVI there.
Mhm.
But that came to me only 8 years ago. And that
Wow.
guy was there in 91. And when my dojo was 30 years old, Sensei GF come with me with a big poster. And he said, I keep that for a long time, but this is when Jean did the knockdown. I called the Romawashigiri to Jean. They know. And everybody from that time signed in the back of the picture.
Mhm, mhm.
And you see Jean holding Ikodashi, the referee doing Nippon, and of course they're pulling out the Japanese guy. So of course it's in my dojo, but it's a gift from Sensei GF, you know.
Mhm.
That's why it's there.
Amazing. My
Yeah.
last question to you is, how do you see the future of Kyokushin karate, not only in Quebec, but as branch chief of Canada with Shihan Tats, and not only just Kyokushin, but IKO Nakamura? How do you see the future growing with technology and just the art in general?
Uh, you know what make the karate evolve in Japan a lot? Only Nakamura do 4 tournaments per year.
Mhm.
So they do every 3 months a tournament. And of course, the last month is Friendship International Tournament. That's the one we go. Of course, we call that Championnat du Monde Nakamura. The difference, what I was not used to before, it was only Matsui. Now you go there and your wife is Nakamura, but she can fight somebody from Shinkyukushin. She can fight somebody from Royama. Even the guy who fought at Hugo Perez tournament the last time he did were 2 Japanese. I think they're both world champion of that organization. They came to the tournament Karen did. So you see, and this is Kyokushin. So what I had to see the difference is I'm a referee and I see the kanji we used to wear, and then I see purple different kanji. You're not used to that, but it's still Kyokushin, different organization. So I try to build the same thing here now. I'm gonna keep help 3, 4 organizations that are doing thing here seriously, but I want to start to build two championship years. One that I'm gonna keep to Nakamura. So we're 14 dojo by 14 dojo. And the other one I'm gonna start to open. So I'm gonna go help them. I'm gonna want them to come to help us. And this is the way I think you can build an organization to grow up. Why? We always think about fighters. Okay. My name is Sensei Karen. I do my last tournament. I don't compete anymore. What do I'm gonna do? Coach, judge, or referee? Where? Tournament. If I don't do tournament, why do they get experience? So we always see only the fighters. Yeah, my organization is old. My dojo is 38 years old. I did my championship in June. 8 mat, 16 referee, over 40 judge. But my sensei, my referee, altered than and more. Half with a lot of experience. So before of my pass, this is already built. But those persons, they have to use it. They need a tournament for that. They cannot all come to Japan to do judge or referee. You understand?
Mhm.
I think that's the way that organization is gonna grow up. So because all the dojo gonna, I think, get water from that, you know, they're gonna drink of it. But they're gonna say, Shan, my 2 black belt, they're gonna go to the class of judging. Then they're gonna go practice at the tournament. One is good, one is no good. Practice. Oh, that guy is good coming to Japan. Okay, we're gonna give him the chance to be judged in Japan. So it keep improving, not only the fighters, everybody around. So the first thing you have to do, take care of the dojo, of course, then tournament, then seminar.
Mhm.
And then when you're ready, because you have to be professional, you start to call dojo that act properly. Some dojo, the sensei have a bad behavior. The way he talks, his student talk, they swear, they this, they that. The fighter is fighting, kick his ass, calls that, yeah, no, no. Of course, I'm not gonna ask the person to come because Nakamura, we don't allow that.
Mhm.
If you go in Japan, you're never gonna hear that. If you hear it, it's somebody from another country that's gonna say swearing, not Japanese person.
Mhm.
So I always said to my person, we're gonna go like them. So me, when we do a tournament, the first thing I do, I talk to the parents. It's okay, yell at your son to fight to this, please, no swearing and no bad language. If they do, we have somebody that take them out.
Mhm.
Because the parents pay me to teach respect to their kids. And then the next day the kid compete and somebody start to swear because his son is losing. You pay me to show respect and one parent is not showing respect. So when that's done, that's done for my organization, some other dojo is gonna come. If one of the sensei act like that, he's gonna have, they say, like, next time you act like that, you're gonna stay home. Why? Because I worked 38 years for respect. The people decide to follow me, believe in that way. So we all work like that. And then I invite somebody else that doesn't think like that, is gonna destroy everything we try to build. So we have to be smart with you. But that's what we want to do for the future. And that, just to show you in Japan, now they even have branch chief from Tokyo with Nakamura. Because before, because of the business, Nakamura was not allowed to have dojo in Tokyo, it was Matsui. But now it's Nakamura. So I don't know how much, but there's a few dojo now that are branch chief for. So now there's even a tournament in October, Nakamura, but in Tokyo.
Mhm.
So imagine, they're gonna do one every month a tournament over there for Nakamura. So the fighter, the coach, the judge, everybody learn. So it make it grow.
Mhm.
That's why. So for Canada, we have to do. That's what Stat is. Stat is. I think Stats have maybe 5 dojo now.
Mhm.
He has one in Calgary. Michi opened in Calgary. He opened a new one with Sasha in Vancouver. So he's doing the same. And now he's doing a small tournament for Kata. He's building the next generation. And then he's, yeah.
Yeah, just one thing. I just got to pause it here, not stop it, but just because like someone's knocking on my door. So I'll just be right back and then we'll continue. Hold that train of thought right there. Okay,
No
Shihan?
problem. Yeah.
Us. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. Just it was just that we have some construction going on in my building, so they were calling me to say, look, there's going to be some noise, and like I didn't answer the phone because I have you here. The notes are on my phone for the questions, and then like they knocked on the door, and I was like, okay, so I had to just let them know, like, no problem, just the way it is. They're renovating one of the walls because there's a new person coming into the building I live in. So yeah, it's part of living in an apartment, as you can understand.
No problem. Don't
Yeah.
worry with that.
So you were saying about Shihan Tats. So Shihan Tats is doing the same thing now. Sensei is Mishi sensei, or is he a Shihan, if I may ask?
Now he's a sensei.
Okay. So there's
He
Sensei
passed his
Mishi.
third dan. I think he passed his third dan like 2 months ago or something like that.
Excellent. And then Senpai Sasha. And I want to really give a congratulations to Senpai Sasha, not just for Kyokushin, but the human being he is, because he's not only doing Kyokushin, he's trying to expand Kyokushin with his modern self-defense warrior. And that's for women, so they could feel empowered. So I really want to say congratulations to Senpai Sasha, who's doing such amazing things. And he's under Shihan Tat, so it's no wonder he's such an amazing human being.
And you know, by the way, Sasha, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, he's doing a kickboxing match, you know,
Mhm.
and he did a kickboxing match. I think it's last week for anyone.
Mhm.
So he's getting experience in that way of fighting too, you know. So but that's the team around Shantat. So of course, he's doing the same thing. The difference with Shantat, at the beginning, when he started to be only with Nakamura, his dojo was younger.
Mhm.
What I mean the belt, not the age. So he's building a new team. But 5 years that I see them going, and it's very serious person, it's gonna be strong too over there, and that's gonna grow too, you know. So Annie is doing tournament, and I know he's getting his new team ready to be good fighter. And when you feel it they're enough good, I know he's gonna organize a Canadian or an American championship, you know. So that's the thinking. That's the thinking to work like that together, you know.
Very
Of
true.
course, we have to do that and keep the rules of Nakamura, and Makoto really tried to follow the rules of Sosai.
Mhm.
What I like about that is Sosai invented Kyokushin, we keep his mentality. But that doesn't mean they don't improve the new technique. So if you the Kyo was this is this, the kata was this is this. But when you do the Yokogiri, the Maigiri, they still improve on the technique.
Mhm.
So some people sometimes you're gonna say, yeah, but if you keep the old ways, there's new thing. No, no. It's only the rules that they kept. If some fifth pian is done like that, they're still doing like that. But the position, the move, the side kick, and the pian is gonna be better because they improve. And of course, the fighting technique, the skill, it's always improving. You know, in the past, I was doing cross training, but it was not everybody. Now, for the last 10, maybe 15 years, there's a lot of coach and fighters that know cross training.
Mhm.
And now, today, if you don't do cross training, you won't be strong enough to compete international because they all does.
Mhm.
So, you know, you see this evolve and adjust. As a whole Shihan or sensei, you have to understand that. So me and Julien now, he went to university. He has his diploma as a professional trainer. Also, he's a kickboxing champion for me, a boxing champion, a karate champion. So now he comes here and we do program for the fighters. So they do karate, of course. Everything is on karate, but twice a week they do something that you call CrossFit. But the real name is cross training.
Mhm.
CrossFit is a company, you know.
Mhm.
But everybody say, ah, I'm doing CrossFit. But if you don't have the title of the company, you can do the same training, but it's called cross training, you know.
Mhm.
So like Sensei Karen, the last 2 years and a half, twice a week, we do cross training here for her. So that's why they become stronger, faster, explosive. But the other one on the other side is doing the same. So when you go to a tournament, everybody is better, stronger, faster. So the champion now, they're very good.
It's very true. And one thing too, because I had a former guest on the 97th episode, and he's a pro fighter, not in the UFC, but in Bellator, the second best
Yeah,
MMA promotion. His name is Costello Van Stennis, and he's from the Netherlands. And he does MMA, but he's got a Dutch kickboxing style. And ironically, he's trained kids who have Kyokushin because of their parents. And he said, like, it's the best base I recommend all kids to have. He's like, not just any karate. He's like, I want them to have Kyokushin because they learn how to hit. They learn how to get hit at a young age. So when I see a kid that says to me, oh, I do Kyokushin, it's so easy for me to work with him. And he's really excited to promote what I do. And hopefully one day I could bring him down for a seminar if you're willing, so he can show us what they do in the Netherlands. It might not, we're not looking for grappling, but just to show him what we do in IKO Nakamura, but how this could be also used in MMA too. And he's a really big fan of Kyokushin. And I wanted to say that. He wanted me to tell you that because I showed him what you do, and he's like, you're in good hands.
That's good. No problem for that. No problem. Yeah.
And yeah, so other than that, I just wanted to say personally, because that's the last question I had, and we got a busy day ahead. I really wanted to say thank you so much, Shihan, first of all, for coming on as the 100th episode. I would never have wanted it any other way. It would not be the same. I always wanted to get you back. People kept saying, when is he coming back? When is he coming back? And I said, someday. And I thought it through and I said, you know what? It's only right to be the 100th episode for everything Boucherville's given me. You came to my mom's funeral. You met my family. They really like you. They understand why I go to Boucherville. They, Mohammed, Sensei Joanne, Sensei Tony, they put me in touch with you. And then, obviously look at what I've done. And, it took some time to get used to Boucherville coming back, but I'm slowly learning properly. And, I'm always going to bat for you. I want to represent Nakamura properly. It's not about me. It's about making sure that I give the way you give. That's what I learned from you. And I'm always gonna, and I'll always stick by, even through the thick of thins, the thick and the thin. And I wanted to ask, with that, where can people reach you if they want to, get in touch to do Kyokushin for you? Because I'll make sure to help with that.
The first thing, we're putting our new website online now. So it's online. There's a few glitches he has to work on. So it's easy. Kyokushincanada.com or Sound de Karate Pierre Cataford. Both of that on the web, going to bring them to my website. Everything is on it. So infolette, phone, anything they want to. That's the best way to reach me. And it's almost everything perfect, but when you open it, there's 2 pictures supposed to move. They're not moving now, but it's going to be fixed in the next day. So that's the best way to reach me. And the phone number is there. Everything is there.
Excellent.
And you're going to see more picture. They're going to see a few sensei. So they're going to be able to read about the school, the schedule and everything.
Excellent. Is there anything you want to say about the show? Just like about today's episode?
Well, first, like I told you at the beginning, thank you for taking me as your 100. I was happy to say yes, and I'm happy to do it with you. And I hope you're going to do another 100, because there's a lot of people that I don't know. I had the chance to listen a little bit, and there's some that I know. One day you took Shihan Daniel Gadet. Shihan Daniel Gadet used to come at Montreal all the time. Of course, now we don't see each other anymore. And you talk about the time he was coming and the time we were competing, and at the time I was doing a lot of breaking record or demonstration, but I didn't know how he felt about that. And the way he said on your show, it was like, I'm happy to hear say he was, for him, I was like full of energy, destroying everything in a place. So because of you, I know how he felt about that. And that make you understand more, because it goes so fast the day you do those things. Your friends, your family talk about it, but then all the sensei, the computer from all over the Canada, they don't have the time to tell you. And a few after that, I listened to your podcast. Sorry, and I hear Sensei Shihan Daniel say he was happy to go through that. He was talking about his fight against Shanaganal, and so all that remind me things positively. So that's because of you. So that's the way I see your podcast. So thank you for that.
I do what I can. I think, honestly, when you come up, there's going to be bumps along the way, and people ask me, like, how do you do it? What do you do? And I say, look, just got to stay consistent. Even when they say no, even when you take a break, sometimes you need a break. Like, I took a 2-month break after like everything going on, and like this is the first recording I'm doing in like a long time, and I don't even feel rusty. So that's how it is. And the goal is now, as 100 episodes more, now I'm under an association, which is yours. Now I got to look at this like a business. Do I want people to listen and come, or do I want to be like a loudmouth or like a cocky, and then it drives away? And it's better to represent, it's better to be diplomatic than to be cocky, because it only wins you in the long run. So that's what I've learned from you.
That's the way you say it. I'm happy, because when somebody come from another organization or dojo and they come to my place, sometimes they have sad reason, of course. And I let them explain to me my rules, and when it's done, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I tell them, okay, that's done, that's done. If you're trainer, I don't want to talk, I don't want you to talk about that anymore. Because here we build the future. We don't bad about the past. And I'm really very tough with that. And now people are used to that. So if somebody go in the vestiaire and do bad, my sensei or my black belt will say, hey, here we don't talk about others. So I built that when I left I knew that was going to happen, different organization. And I tell to the new black belt that came in all the time, I have one rule. You have something that you're not happy, we talk about it, no problem. Then when it's finished, you get out of my office, you come back, you do karate, we train, we have fun. We don't talk about no bad mouth. It's important in my dojo. And that's what we do. And you come here now, you don't hear people talking about the different dojo. And it's a rule. It's a rule. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm different. Maybe it didn't go with that person, but some person with me 10 years ago did not go good. And they went out because I did not teach them or talk to them the proper way. So, but if we talk about that, no. So I'm trying to do better than before. You are not happy with it, but good, you come here, we're going to try to be better together. That's it. And maybe that person that you lost, you left, he lost you. Maybe he's learning from that and you won't do the same mistake with the next one. That's what I did in my past. I lost people because I did wrong thing. So that doesn't mean because somebody come from another dojo here, the other dojo, they're no good. Not with the experience I have now. So I don't let people get into this,
Smart.
So like you do, we try, you told me today we're going to be more like, more inside what we think. That's the way you wanted the podcast, So we didn't take only talk technique. We talk about the feeling, why you come here, why I teach, why. So people have to understand that today they have to see the way we want the mentality to be. So when you come here, then we show you technique.
I'm in good hands. I love it. I'm only excited for the future, and it's good to be back. And, I'm hoping that my story and what, we've spoken about can inspire someone to get off the couch, not be depressed. Cause it's like mental health is so important now, and you need to stay focused. Like sometimes therapy isn't worth it. Sometimes you need hard training. I know what I need. And that's why I come to Kyokushin Boucherville to get my mind straight.
When the ball is full, you have to empty it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way to do that is training.
Exactly. And that is how we'll end episode 100. Shihan, thank you so much once again. It was such a big honor. I'm glad we got to do this. And you ever want to come on again, the door is always open. And I'm hoping that Sensei Corinne comes on. So now I'm putting pressure on her. So Sensei Corinne, you're going to be next.
I'm going to tell her. But Drew, thank you very much for your podcast. And keep training hard. And we're still going to have fun all together.
Sounds good. We grow far together.
Yes.
Us.
So, host, thank you very much.
Thank you.